Welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangout, and I am your host. My name is Charles Carter, and we discuss sport and competitive building, flying, competing, flying model airplanes, and we also like to talk about things you do in your shop. It could be planes, trains, automobiles, whatever excites, whatever you enjoy doing. Anyways, I'm going to shortly post a link at Stunt Hangar, and that allows you to come on in with your microphone and your camera, and we can see each other and have a hangout. Now, you need to be a member in order to be able to see the link, which is called At the Bench. So if you're not a registered member, you would want to register using your real first and last name, and you need to put a space between the first and last name. Also, you'll need to have a valid email address, and Sparky would approve you. I also like to let you know there's opportunities to donate and support this channel. What Sparky does is he goes on site to contests. He also does training videos, or building videos, I should say, on building. And he, for these things, he usually has to invest in equipment to do the very best job he can do and produce the best product. And so we have memberships that start at $4.99 a month, and I think there's 3 tiers. I don't remember the other levels. I'm at the $4.99 level, and with that, you become a member. And there's some members only videos that you'll be able to take advantage of. You get some badges when you're in the forum, or even on our YouTube channel when you someone's coming in. Looks like great. Hang on just a second. Let me finish my introduction here. Anyways, and so that's what some of the membership, what the fees go, and also you can donate through the super chat. And that also is a great way to help support the channel. Anyways, I'm going to post this link real quickly. Hang on a second. So I'm going into Stunt Hangar right now, and I'm going to post this link. And okay, there we go. That's going up. So now hopefully there's some people that are waiting to come on in. Now, speaking of coming in, we have someone who's coming in. I believe I can't make out who or what they are. Do you have a microphone? Can you say hello? I heard some static.
Hey Charles, this is Todd.
Hey Todd, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. I can't stay in long. I just got the email, so.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. You know, your camera looks like blinds, like window blinds. Are you? What are you using to?
I'm on my phone.
Oh, your phone. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. I've never had anyone use their phone, but I know that there's some phone numbers you can call in. But this is fine. This is perfectly fine. So I just posted the link. I don't know if you're a member of Stunt Hangar. Are you a member of Stunt Hangar?
Yeah, I can't. I can only stay on for about another minute, Charles. I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
All right. Well, hi, Todd. Thanks for popping in. Maybe some other time when you have some more time and you can use your computer.
Yeah, I will.
Come on in. Sounds good. All right,
yeah,
Todd.
I did talk to Brodak today, and they told me which motor to get, so I ordered everything.
Oh, fantastic! Great. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. So you probably, if you ordered it today, you probably should get it probably Thursday.
Hopefully. So
Thursday.
Anyway, I'll be able to stay in longer next time. Okay.
All right, man. Thanks, Todd, for coming in.
And I'll see you on Friday.
I'll see you on Friday. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, bye.
Bye. Hey, Tom. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, Charles. I'm doing well.
Good. I'm doing well. Can you see the background?
I can see a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of it. This is actually a picture I took of Sparky's plane at the Nats.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
When they were judging, probably, it looks like.
Well, actually, this is off to the side
Oh,
because I flew it, and so I didn't build it, so I didn't get appearance points. So we put
uh,
it off the. Yeah, so it wasn't judged. I'm sure it was judged last year. I think he got 16 points.
okay.
I think it was 16. This is when they were judged outside. And Gary, I see your initials, but I don't see your video. Can you hear us? And we can't see you, and we can't hear you if you are talking. Hi,
There's
Bill.
Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hi. Hi, Tom.
So,
So, did you get snow in Winona?
Yeah, there was some snow in the air, but didn't mount to anything.
Yeah, we might get it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sounds like.
wow.
at least the wind quit blowing.
Yeah, did you fly?
Yeah, I flew free flight. This farmer friend I have 20 miles away, he said when he got done with his soybeans, I could fly there. And he just finished up. So it's 240 acres and it's completely flat.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Now that was a free flight, right?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a free flight for the first time when I went to the Nats in 2019. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't. It wasn't an official flight. It was just a demonstration. But I had never seen a free flight, and it was a big free flight. I don't
Uh-huh.
know. I forgot the engine, but I remember the Venturi was huge. It was a big trumpet, like I mean, it was. I mean, almost like an inch Venturi. I mean, and it was a big motor. I mean, that thing took off, and then I was just astounded. I've heard of them. When they come down, they start circling.
Yeah.
It just gently just came down, and it just sat down. I was like, wow, that was amazing.
They have dethermalizers, right, Bill?
Yeah. So the
That-
biggest one I have has the K&B Grainhead 19, and I flew that today, and I don't know, it didn't like the 35-degree weather too well. I got it running, but it didn't start like. And my lipo batteries, they didn't like it either.
Yeah.
They're just 2S, and yeah.
So the Torpedo 19, maybe next time take out lighter fluid with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and put it in the Venturi, just like you're gonna prime it.
Uh-huh.
Prime it with lighter fluid, and it'll light right off, and it'll burn right off. It won't hurt your motor.
That sure is a noisy motor.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Compared to electrics, of course.
Well, I think it's compared to other glow engines. But maybe it's just because the exhaust is on the other side, you hear it more. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the profile, that exhaust is blasting right in your face.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, how are you, man? No, we don't hear you.
muted. Still Mike's still muted.
Anyways, I think the last time I flew was Friday. I've been trying to find something in my garage for like almost 5 days. So frustrating. Because it's kind of holding me up from doing what I want to do to the new plane that I'm working on.
What are you heading for?
Oh, I have some.
Okay, that should be better.
Yeah, it's a lot better. I have some 5/16 balsa dowels.
Oh,
Yeah, and I don't want to use the hardwood. I want to use some balsa so it's light. Kind of make a few repairs. You know how when you're building planes, sometimes you make a mistake and you got to fix it. That's my plan on fixing it with a 5/16 dowel. But
your kids didn't build a kite out of them, did they?
I know. I don't think so. I can't find it. They can't find it. I tell my kids all the time when they're trying to find something that, don't worry, you'll find it. It'll be the last place you look. And
Uh,
I'm
that's pretty good.
actually getting some of my own medicine, so I'm like, I know I'm gonna find it. It'll be the last place I look. But I'm just like, hurry up and find it. You know.
So I've been having a bad time trying to get that electric clown finished up. My electric motor, the prop adapter keeps flying off when I try to start it up. And
Huh.
the one time,
Tighten it up.
what?
Tighten it up.
Oh, I've tightened it and tightened it. And anyhow, I was reading some, and I'm not the only one that has this problem. People seem to think sometimes after you get it on there once, then it seems to stay, but sometimes it's hard to. And somebody said to roughen up the shaft. I did that, and then it stayed on, but then it just started slipping. And I don't know, in the motor, the can part in the back that turns, now that slips. So I don't know if that matters or if something broke in the motor or what.
Week have told us that with our new blades, their base shape is as smooth as their first, and we stand by that.
You have a computer on, Peter?
Guarantee at Harry's.com.
We're
Millions have
picking up a
already made
commercial.
the switch to
Was
Harry's,
that?
and we
We're
will
picking up
too.
a commercial.
This special
No, I'm
featuring our
I had
new
my mic
sharp
muted.
blade, a weighted razor handle, shave gel,
Yeah,
and a
Harry,
travel.
That was me.
that was
Oh,
you?
I was listening to the radio on the computer. I forgot I had it on. Just background noise.
Oh, okay,
Sorry about
dude.
that.
That's okay. I don't know. I was just thinking about my Harry's order. Those Harry blades. Have you guys tried those?
No, but I saw some spray that you can spray on there, puts little fibers on your hair, makes what you got look thicker. I don't have enough up there to make it look thicker.
Yeah. Well, if I could, I'd
I'm
like to get.
almost like you, Charles. Almost.
Yeah. No, I think you have more hair than me. You have a lot more than I do.
so
I mean,
I'd like to address Bill's question.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So Bill, there are some hubs that are 3 millimeters and some that are 3.17. And I'm wondering if you have a 3.17 hub on a 3 millimeter motor shaft.
It's a 5 millimeter shaft, and it's the adapter that came with the motor.
Okay.
But
So that couldn't be it then.
it just starts speeding up, and then all of a sudden the propeller flies off, with the adapter. And the other thing that is not very designed well is they just have this plywood ring on the front of the clown, and then it mounts to that. And there was a video of some guy, his motor broke off twice in 2 flights. And I've been messaging him, and he ended up making a rear mount, putting a different motor on a rear mount. And I'm thinking that's what I'm going to end up doing, because the other problem is it gets hot because, you're blocking the front of the motor.
Hold the motor up a minute. Let me see what.
Yeah, so it mounts like right up
Okay.
here, and the rest of it turns behind it.
So they don't have any holes in the firewall for air to go through?
No.
So maybe you want to do that at least to get some air going through. And you said it slipped somewhere else too?
Yeah, I mean, like if you hold the prop shaft, this can part that normally turns, that slips. Now I don't know if that makes any difference, or if it's just a straighter. If that holds to the shaft, maybe that's all you need. I don't know, but I noticed that.
So you're saying the back part of the motor, that's the part that attaches to the shaft on that particular motor, right?
It's the front part that, yeah, right.
So the front part mounts to the flywheel or firewall.
Yeah.
And So where does the back slip from the? If you hold the prop and turn the back, that part spins.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's something. Is there a set screw that attaches that? Is the shaft turning in the hub right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's? How do you tighten the hub? Is there a? Do you have a pin that goes through a hole?
The hub, it's like
It's a collet,
it's a
right?
collet.
Yeah. And
And
so
it,
there's,
I think your collet is too big. I looked at the picture that you had on Facebook,
well, the
and if
collet,
you
the
look
one
on the
that came
back
with
of
the
it,
motor,
it's collapsed. The back of it is collapsed quite big time. So can you take the back of your hub and pull it real close to the camera so we can see it? Just take the piece out. Yeah, that one. No, not that one. The one that goes on the shaft itself.
that
it
seems
fits
like
under
there's
tight.
In there. Is that a new one, Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's that fits good. That's actually a pretty good fit, by the way.
Yeah.
So how is the motor running without the propeller?
It runs, I think, okay. Yeah, without the propeller.
And when you put the prop, what does it do?
The adapter flies off, and with the propeller, and
Show me the adapter again, real close up. I want to see the backside of it. Closer to the camera. I cannot see nothing from there. Machko, get closer. Don't be shy. Get closer. Come on. You can do it.
Stand up.
Turn it
You have to
sideways.
get to your feet.
that looks
Get
okay.
closer. Closer, closer. That looks fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it fitting when you put it on the shaft? Does it feel like it's slipping nicely in there?
yeah, it seems to. I mean, I couldn't pull it off.
But you know what? I never had problems with that stuff, you know.
I haven't either until this one, and then I started kind of researching on the internet, and seemed like there's quite a few people have had trouble.
With that
What-
motor?
Well, I don't know if it was just with this motor, but with other motors.
What do you put in the nose cone or the nose hub to tighten it? Do you have a drill bit or
Oh
rod, or
my
what do you?
God. You might have a point over there. You know what, Bill? Maybe you're not. You think you are tightening it up, but you are not actually, because it bottoms out on the bottom of the screw bottoms out in that collet. Can you just put a drum? How many threads do you put inside? You know what I'm saying?
Who invited R2D2? Yeah, the last time I heard all this noise, all the machines turned into monsters.
Somewhere on 8x8.
I think it's John Miller.
What in the world is going on?
I don't know.
What happened to Jitsi?
Charles, can you mute John Miller? There we
You know
go.
what? That was John Miller.
Yeah, that's
So
what I thought.
I kicked him out, and then the sign went away.
Wow.
I don't know what that was.
The last time I heard all that noise, everything turned into robots.
Yeah, I hope John can get back in. I don't know what it does when I kick him out.
So, Bill, look, this is what I'm talking about, okay? You have your collet, right? Right?
Right.
You only have so many threads in here.
Right.
So maybe the prop is too thin here, and when you screw this in, you're actually bottoming this on the top of the screw head, and this never clamps on.
Well, I don't know. It seems like, I can see the threads go behind the hub.
Okay, do this, Bill. Take your prop off, thread your nut on, and then measure the distance and then measure the thickness of your prop hub.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey guys, I'm going to call John Miller. I'll be right back, okay?
Or just, can you try just putting a regular nut on it? Or is that a bolt style prop nut?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm not familiar with electrical, or electric engines, motors, whatever. So
it's an aluminum kind of nose cone shaped.
So it's like an acorn nut.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems the hub it overlaps, where the back of the nut is, so it should be tight. But
okay, what do you use to tighten it? Do you stick a drill bit through there and tighten it, or what do you use?
Yeah, or some kind of
tool wire or something.
Yeah, I really cranked on it.
Okay.
I don't know. I've had, others like this and never had a problem, but then I kind of read that some people do. I ordered another one that has a set screw on it, so. I can try that.
So if you put the prop on it, let me ask you a question. If you put the prop like this on it,
yeah,
okay, and you have this, right?
Right.
You should not be able to put it on a motor. Like just put it on the motor. This should not go on because it gets smaller, right?
Right.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Try that. See if it goes on. Because if it goes on, that means you're bottoming on the bottom of the on the top of the screw. First, I thought maybe it's collapsing or something like that because I saw the legs kind of come in.
Yeah.
The 4 legs that you have over there, and after that, the only thing I can think of is just you maybe bottoming maybe the screw is just too long.
I don't think so now, Tryon, because he just put the on there and the gap, the space was smaller than the hub on the prop. So
yeah.
Okay, the noise there though.
But I did notice the tapered part of that collet is pretty steep.
Yeah.
A lot steeper than most collets I've seen.
Okay.
Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I don't know what I read. Some people said that some of them just didn't work too well.
Maybe that's what you have there.
Yeah.
A bad collet. But Bill, here's a crazy idea. Try to put some. I know it doesn't make much sense. Put some grease in between the back washer and the taper, so the taper section has some way to slip in there.
Some lubrication, yeah.
Because if it slips, then it's going to clamp.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand what he's talking about, Bill?
I think so.
Just on that tapered part.
Yeah.
Just lube up that tapered part.
Yeah. Okay.
The taper part of the collet.
Well, the other thing was I ordered a SIG twister and they're back ordered, but.
Hey Al, I see you trying to come in.
No, I'm here.
All right, great, Al. Well, thanks for coming in.
No, thanks for the invite.
My pleasure. Well, I know you know John Miller, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, you guys have been at probably the contest at the same time.
That's likely, but generally I'm running around like a lunatic, and I don't get to meet everybody everywhere.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, John.
If I could see what he looks like, I could tell you whether I know him or not.
Yeah, if I had a camera, I would let you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Dennis. Hi,
Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Yay!
Hey. Well,
Look what the cat dragged in here.
Hey, Dennis. I guess you got the memo, right?
Oh, wow.
Now, Charles sent me a why haven't you been in church message earlier today? So I thought I'd drop in and say hi, see how you guys are doing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
Hey, John.
I see Mike is still building.
Here's what's going on the plane.
What do you got there, Eddie?
Oh, yeah, 51, small case 50, or I should say big case 51, small case 60, whatever.
Yeah, I just gotta get Venturi. I gotta get a Venturi for it. Gotta go compress.
Oh, I go to Jim Lee.
Jim Lee's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell him what you got, and tell him it's the same case as the Tiger 60s, 56 and 60.
Okay. So is this a
absolute worst case? I'll ask you to send the engine to him so he can absolutely make it fit, but I don't think you'll have to do that.
Yeah. But that's what's going into the plane, John.
Yeah, those things really run well. 51 run well.
Did you get an email from me, Eddie?
Huh?
Did you get an email from me here in the last
Yes, I
day?
got that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Did it print out better on your printer? Remember, you printed that one on your printer and the end was cut off on the one end?
Yeah.
Okay, well, did the new one fix that?
Yeah, it comes up when I bring it up. Everything's on the screen.
Excellent. Okay. Just what I wanted to know.
And I like the way you put, you cut down one page and put the all the parts list. You just strung them out into a longer plan.
Yeah, longer sheet. Yeah.
That'll cut down a sheet to print.
Yeah, I don't know with the length being longer, how much it save, but it should save you something.
Yeah. Well, where I go up here at UPS, he just charges me like $7 a print. So
sounds good.
I went to FedEx to get the fuselage printed, and it was no. FedEx was $11 because they charge by the square inch or square foot, whatever. And UPS, I got three plans. One of them was 2 pages, so it's 4 pages for like $14. So I got 4 pages for the price of one at FedEx. So I don't plan to go back to FedEx. They're too high.
Well, it was my mistake. I had gone in and printed to a size that I could almost get. I didn't go in and custom make a page, which is what I had to do. I just went in, custom made the page, 36 inches wide by whatever length I needed it. The other one was at like 42 inches wide.
Yeah.
And not long enough. So
yeah,
that was my fault. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So if you guys, let me interrupt for a second. Al, are you familiar with the Stunt Hangar video hangouts?
What's that?
Are you familiar with our hangouts?
Not specifically. I talked with Charles here before. I do have I am on Stunt Hangar, but generally I avoid it like the plague because I go from one thread to the other and like the day just disappears before I notice,
Yes,
that's never happened.
I think we all resemble that remark. We all can relate to that. So we talk about modeling here. We talk about flying. We talk about all aspects of model aviation, and we sometimes even get off topic sometimes.
No,
So,
yeah.
so we do this Monday and Friday evenings, and we hang out, and we try not to step on each other's words, and we also do show and tells. There's an opportunity to do what's called a screen share, and we can share images and pictures and stuff like that. And it's typically a lot of fun. I've been on the Hangouts for like maybe close to 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun. So hopefully, if you have any questions, I can help you with that. As far
Well,
as
no, I'm just actually kind of listening in because you've been following the NAG. That's basically been what I've been doing in the hobby for the last 6 months. Without there being the push to get something into the air, I'm not really building. I keep finding more quote unquote important things to do, and I'm not going out to the field because frankly, there are lunatics out there. And, so all I do is, I put out this newsletter every week based on what other people are doing,
The old saying, beyond here are dragons. Yeah.
Is everybody familiar with the NAG that he's talking about?
No.
Okay. I'm the secretary and newsletter editor for the Valley Circle Burners. We're the club that basically based out of the San Fernando Valley, north of LA. And when they sort of handed me the newsletter job 5 years ago, I said, I really don't like what we're doing. It's called The Burner. And it came out like 3 or 4 times a year. And it was like 3 or 4 Xerox pages, with 4-month-old contest results and a couple of airplane pictures. And I figured by the time we got done sending them out, it really wasn't anything I would call news. And so I figured with the internet, maybe we could do something more news-like without having to make everybody jump through hoops, getting apps or learning how to push buttons. And what I ended up zeroing in on is basically taking everybody's email addresses and putting my newsletter basically into their inboxes on Monday morning. And we do it every week. And so the stuff that's in there covers what's happened in the club in the last week, and what we're planning in the immediate future. And then I put a lot of pictures of airplanes in it. I call it airplane porn. And, because nobody reads these things through the articles. And, we got about 2 dozen guys in the club, but I've got almost 200 subscribers, so it's doing something for somebody. The editorial tone is tongue through cheek. We make fun of everybody and everything, but we hope not to be cruel about it. Charles, you characterize it. You're a reader. I mean, what do you get out of it?
Oh, it's like he said, you hear about who was flying, how many flights they put up. You also see what they have on the bench and some information about the construction of the model. He does a great job covering like VSC, or the Golden State Stunt Championship. Those are the big contests out here in the West Coast. And he does a fabulous job covering it. I'm always amazed at the sheer volume of stuff, but it's his sense of humor, his wit is funny. I mean, it's an enjoyable newsletter. I mean, I would highly recommend everybody to get on his list.
Yeah, the subscriptions are free. Okay, all you have to do is send me your email address. Say, please nag me on a weekly basis, and I will. And no, seriously. And the way you get off the list is you just send me an email saying, please stop nagging me, and that's been the deal for 5 years. My email address, just if you want to send it to me, my email address, Dognosticator, DOGNOSTICATOR ator@yahoo.com. And all you have to do is just drop me an email saying you want it. I'll put you on the subscription list. I sent one out today. I'll send you this week's and put you on the subscription list. I will warn you, I had oral surgery last week. I'm down to my last 2 teeth in my mouth, and I was drugged all last week. I have absolutely no idea what I sent out last night. So
I haven't read it yet. I saw it and I clicked at some of the pictures.
Straight to the porn. Straight to the pornography every time.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, but
I wonder why I write articles at all.
No, you should, because it's something I read in pieces. So
yeah,
I'm so busted. But,
hey, you fessed up, Charles.
I'm being honest.
I have to respect that.
Right. You have to be, and it's a really good newsletter. I mean, every time I read it, I enjoy it. And of course, some of the pictures actually entice me to read. I forgot which picture it was that I saw of the plane. I forgot what it was now, but yeah, I do get enticed by it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Understand, guys, though, this is the club newsletter. So, I mean, it is really heavily, pointed to the 24 guys in our club and what we're doing. It's not like the stuff I've written for Stunt News in the past. So,
Yeah.
Can you give your site, your email again one more time?
Sure.
You know what? Hang on a second, Al. We're live on YouTube, so I don't want you to get all kinds of junk email from.
So
don't worry. I mean, I'm sure no one got it. Not everybody got it the first time, but I can share it with these guys. If you guys,
I missed it. Can you say it again?
No. So anyways, you guys, if you put in our chat box your email addresses, I can forward that to Al. You know how to do our own personal chat, our own text we have?
I did it on Jitsi, but I don't know about 8x8.
It should be the same thing. They're all very similar.
I know.
Honey.
So anyways, yeah, do that. And that way I'll forward them all to you, Al.
All right, yeah. So as soon as I get those together, I'll send you a copy of this week's issue and put you on the email for next week and ongoing. Like I said, it'll just keep coming at you till I get set up and stop doing it, or because I don't think anybody else is stupid enough to do this format. No, really. I mean, this has been an experiment, a weekly newsletter that actually includes news. I don't know anybody else who's doing this. And I think a large reason for that is what you guys are doing here. That the chat rooms and the bulletin boards have almost completely taken the place of the magazines. Both the trade mags and the institutional ones, which they're just dying like flies. I would that it were other. But other than me jamming it in your inbox and giving it away for free, I don't really see any real future for that format.
Yeah, but it's really good. So far, I have Tom Rammel's email address and I have John Miller's name.
Well, that's all you need. I'm so famous,
Yeah,
especially in December when I wear my red hat, my red suit.
That's true.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Let's just leave the offer open here for 24 hours for Charles to gather together the first mailing. And if you decide later on you want to add, I mean, it's an open offer, for, again, as long as I'm doing it, which is going to depend on what our club needs, really, because that's really who it's been for. I'm amazed, though, that, we got 24 members and I got 180-ish subscribers, and I don't know why, but
it's good. That's why. So I got your John. I got John Miller's email, and I got Tryon. So that's cool. Anybody else interested? No pressure. anyways, that's good. I'm glad you're with us, Al. Thank you for us finally getting it together. I felt bad I forgot to send you the invitation because I wasn't sure if you was even on Stunthangar. But if you're on Stunthangar,
Yeah.
all you gotta do is go to at the bench, and I post the link there, and that way you can come in like these other guys came in.
You just don't want me to get anything done, do you?
No, I want you to get things done.
You'll have more to write about.
Yeah, well, hey. One thing you'll find is that every week there's something to write about, and I'm actually surprised at how much there's to write about with so little going on right now.
I'm always amazed when I see the newsletter how much there is to write about. I'm always amazed, and your wit and everything else, Plus, it's very it's how do I want to say it? It's good. It's good reading. I mean, it's like
Keep it clean now.
I am. No, Al's a very intelligent person, so the level of the level of the writing is higher than what you typically read on a daily basis. It's pretty neat.
I don't know quite how you write about spinning in circles with great intelligence, but
You do a good job. I mean, you can tell that you're you can tell you went to an Ivy League or a Ivy League school.
Don't out me, man. Don't out me. I just want to be a modeler,
You got beyond the 6th grade, is what he's saying.
Looks like Peter has some ribs on his wing jig now.
Oh, really?
I saw him with a bunch of ribs on.
I thought he was building a very high ratio tandem wing there.
You never can tell.
Look at that.
Well, I'm glad to see you made progress with that jig.
Pretty.
Well, one last thing, Al. So you can see what we're doing, Al?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Oh, I'm still cursing this thing. It's fighting me every inch of the way.
You shall overcome, Peter.
That's true.
Peter, I tell you what, if you want one to curse, I decided to build a Pinto. And I built the thing and decided that I wanted to put a cowl on it. I didn't like the open cowl, drop-in motor look. So I built a cowl on the thing. Oh, man, I'm telling you, sometimes I wish I could just build it the way it was drawn. Making changes is such a pain.
It is. I can't.
It turned out very neat.
Changes.
I can't either.
Hey,
well, everything just froze up except the voice, so I'm going to have to turn this off and redo it, but I'll be back with you in a minute.
All right.
Okay. Dennis, I got an announcement for you and a question for you at the same time. Because you've been working a lot with light plywood, haven't you?
I'm sorry, what?
You've been doing a lot of work with light ply with your.
I would say a lot, but done a couple of airplanes with it. Yeah.
Well, I've with the problem with the price of balsa wood today, I've been looking at the Vanguard, and I've come to the conclusion that I may turn around and change the fuselage construction to utilize light ply and stringers, make it look like an old 20s or 30s type of construction, cover it with monocoat, do it all with colored clear monocoat.
Just not green, all right? Okay.
I might put some green on there, But anyway,
all right.
What do you think of the viability of that? Do you think that's a good idea? I think I can lighten it up enough with cutouts that it should work just fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the exact numbers. Light ply is basically something like a 20 density. Right? When you compare it to balsa, you go, oh my God, how can I live with that? Well, you live with it by putting lots of air in it. You hollow up the rear fuselage, you hollow up the fuselage side, like the old Nobler, the hollow rear fuselage and stuff like that. Have you ever messed with any airplanes like the the airplane planes, like the SIG 4 stars or anything like that, they had a real nice light box fuselage, and they had typically, the fuselage side was on the order of 3/8 to a half inch wide around the perimeter, with a few odd verticals, like truss work in the back. Just bulkhead, trimmers, light fly bulkhead, all notched in. One neat thing about light fly is that you can really do things like press construction with it really well because it will hold its shape and all that kind of stuff.
You got to get into your speaker, buddy.
Yeah.
We need to buy Dennis a new microphone.
That's the other reason I haven't been here very much, between my cheap computer and my whatever else. Keep your fuselage webs, just out, basically open up the fuselage everywhere around the periphery, and just keep doing it. If you have something like frankly, if you could look at something like some of the RC guys are doing, like SIG, the old SIG kits, trying to remember what they call them now. The 4-star series, 4-star 20, 40, 60, whatever else. They were real good examples. They typically had a box of light fly box fuselage, maybe a few odd balsa pieces here and there, but primarily light fly. And it's just a question of, the old thing, simplicate and add lightness.
Well, I'm going to try it. I don't have to destroy what I have. That's the nice thing about CAD work. I can just, save the one as it is and try what I want on the other one. But you remember the old stringer jobs, like the 10-cent comic kit type thing. I'm thinking about doing that similar to that for most of the fuselage, with the light ply formers in there and maybe a couple of crutch pieces in there, and then the stringers. I think I can get it pretty light. In fact, I'm thinking about, even though it's an elliptical wing, I'm thinking about getting rid of the leading edge sheeting and use turbulator spars on it.
Yeah, I would save a bunch. One way, there's that thread going about using thinner balsa and stuff like that. I think the other answer is to just use less balsa. And, I think if you can restrict it to just leading edge sheeting, I think, that's not too painful. The turbulator spars are, I think, an opportunity. I wish I had hard experience to say, yes, that's a good idea, or no, it isn't. But I think that there's something there. And I'd have to go back. The only stunt example I can think of is the Excalibur, which is supposedly a really good airplane. It's got fairly wide-spaced ribs and a lot of turbulator spars on it, and it allegedly flies very well. Can't say I've never flown it.
I've had one, and they do fly very well, and they fly better than they should. There's turbulator spars, but I'm talking about 1/8-inch square turbulators. So yeah, the Excalibur, it's got a rather thin wing, and it's got a airfoil that is basically a curve all the way from the front to the back, basically like the same radius, even, and a relatively sharp entry point. But what you can do is I've taken a little bit of balsa up there, and just instead of bringing it to the pointy like they show in the plans, I just kind of rounded out a little bit more, and that plane flew much better than it should have. It was really quite amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base and get your ideas on it. This is kind of the fun part of drawing.
Let's see, if I can, I'll try to put up a picture. The last several times I tried sharing pictures in the past year, it immediately shuts down my browser. I'll see if I can find a picture up here. I post I got a couple of light flyers I could show you here. If I can get.
Okay.
Yeah. Just stand by for me. Not sure anymore.
Phil, don't run it. Phil, send me an email.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mike, again, I want to say thank you for your present.
You're welcome, Tryon. Just, I'd like to see some pictures of them when they build the model.
Yeah, that's what they said. They're gonna definitely do that.
Okay, that's good.
And that's a nice kit. I mean, it's all it's the laser cut. It's not the seat stock.
Yes, correct.
I think it's a better kit then.
Oh, I didn't know that. I would have given you a box stock one. Shit. It's okay. It's just a Skyray. It's just a Skyray.
Appreciate that.
Still look.
When we were leaving Sunday, Richard Oliver stopped us in the parking lot and gave Sam that Bislob ARF that he won in the raffle.
Nice.
Yeah. So
All right.
He come home from that contest with a Pathfinder ARF from Frank Gillo and a Bislob ARF from Richard Oliver. We won this in the raffle.
Let me make you big, Mike.
I don't know what it is. Tell me what it is.
Jameson, that's a fine flying airplane.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good flying airplane.
Whoops.
Upright engine.
Hey, that hurt.
Yeah. It's silk and dope. It's pretty light. It's actually really, really light. Silk and dope, upright engine, nice compartment that comes off so I can put a tank in it. So we'll get that going. That was one of the raffle planes, and then another one. I thought this was a Mongoose or an Apocalypse. I'm not, but I don't think it is. I think it's some kind of old school combat rat racer. Not really sure, but we're going to finish that.
Right.
We'll cover it. I think this will be Sam's first silk span job. I'm going to make him do the silk span on this one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you think that's an old cool slow combat airplane, or what is
I
that?
wrote it down.
Looks like one of the old slow combat designs.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's a Mongoose or an Apocalypse. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
But I'm not real sure.
The wing pattern, the geodetic wings is not original. That somebody did that later. Because if I remember correctly, the Mongoose had the ribs going straight fore and aft.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought too. So maybe somebody designed. I mean, it's a kit. It's laser cut. I can tell that much. It's a laser cut wing. Somebody laser cut the wing, but I don't know. It should be a fun little flyer with a 25 on it, probably.
I have a question, guys.
Probably a 15. Probably a 15 would be fine.
Hey, John. Yeah, I think it's too big. 15, John.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Pathfinder. I just weighted the frame as it is right now.
Yeah.
That's in
Thanks, Mike.
Condition.
Yeah.
27.5 ounces.
Let's see. So figure 10 ounces for covering and paint or finish. Monaco. Okay. They'll figure 10 ounces for covering, and your engine. What does your engine weigh?
I don't know. I don't know what more.
About 8 ounces. Probably about 8 ounces.
Do you count the engine? I usually don't because that's.
I do. You need the all up flying weight, ready to go without gas.
Okay. Right now it's at 27.5.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Not for that size airplane.
Not at all.
I'm thinking you could probably get in there for about 50, maybe a little more, a little less.
Yeah, I've got the wheel pants and the wheels on it.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Wow,
Pretty good, Peter.
that is good.
You're doing good. So that was from the RSM kit,
Yes.
Peter. That's pretty good wood then.
Yes, have the wheels on it. Yeah, it is pretty good wood.
That's pretty good wood.
I mean, basically, the only thing that's not on there are the elevators and the stab. But you have to remember, I still have to sand the top block completely to shape. It's not finished off. As you can see, it's pretty square. I don't have it sanded all yet.
Yeah.
And that's a block of wood on top there, Peter?
No, it isn't actually. It's a 1/4 inch block at the very top.
Okay.
But that's
pretty light.
Everything else is. Oh, geez, I know that tank in it.
Very nice.
Guys, I'm gonna head out, man. My stomach's not feeling too swell tonight, but try
Mike,
and,
sorry to hear that, Mike.
I'll see you at King Orange next weekend, okay?
I'll see you there, man.
Right.
Okay.
Good night.
Mike,
Take care.
Have a good one, Mike.
Good night.
See you Friday.
Good night, Mike. Take care. Get better.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can share those pictures I was talking about. Stand by, and if I disappear, it's because my browser. Oops. There we go.
Well, you got big.
Yeah, I clicked on him.
I'm clicking away. I got nothing. Oh, well. Never mind.
So maybe you're just a little rusty. Maybe you just got to practice.
Did you do share application?
Yeah, I just tried sharing my screen. I got some pictures I was going to share, and I hit the share button and nothing happened.
Did you hit share application? When you hit the share button, it gives you 3 choices.
Yeah.
And so one is share your screen, one's application window. Try hitting application.
Yeah.
Try hitting application window and then select your screen.
Now the share button isn't lighting up at all.
Oh. Okay.
So I got the share your screen window, but nothing I can do here. Apparently, it's not impressed by anything I have.
So
Wait a minute, something just happened.
on your share your screen window, there you go.
Here we go.
There you go.
Something happened.
All
Let
right.
me get back.
There you go.
There we are. Oh, look at that. What is
All
that?
right.
Well,
And
that's
reason I wanted to
impressive.
show this, John, this is an airplane. The ribs and the fuselage were cut out of light fly. This is actually a Joker old-time stunt airplane. And I've got a couple of the other pictures here, might be a little better detail.
Damn, that's way too much work.
I've got the Juno XL on mine. I don't know.
I like the oval holes on that
On the share, on the
web.
I got I-beam spar with the oval hole.
That's all laser cut.
Nice.
That is cool.
All right, the
There's
rib webs are about 3/16 or so, which is smaller than you would normally cut ribs. All right, and because of the long spans, we did add an extra upright in the back. The wing has a web spar, like the old Nobler style. It separates the ribs and everything like that, and it all snaps in there and everything.
It's got holes in it.
Yeah, it's got nothing. You know, you can say simplicate and add air. And there's 16 shading and trailing edge. Let's see. One more picture.
No adjustable lead up.
You can kind of see the slide here.
Got the vacuum on.
Mike making margaritas.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, you see that that's about I think it was a 3/8 wide web here and about a 1/4 inch web here. And it's all interlocking, top and bottom. So you put the fuselage together, you could you could actually put the fuselage, all the bulkheads and everything in it, wrap a couple of rubber bands around it, and the fuselage basically holds its shape without any glue in it.
Yeah.
Hey, Tryon, can you drop the mic,
It's like
Tryon?
build it in your lap if you want. You don't even have to build it over a board to get the proper,
Thank you, Tryon.
you know.
Oh, no, not yet.
And you just go from there.
Well, that's impressive. That's kind of what I had in mind.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Some roundness in the front and stuff like that. Some shape there and stuff. You might have to redo some of that. You might be able to bring it together with some flat sections and stuff. One thing I did do on this, and I don't know if I have a decent picture of it or not. Can't really see it real well. On the fuselage, the top is a block, but on the sides and the bottom, I put like a corner piece on there, and I was able to take and fit the 2-inch spinner with 3 pieces of light ply coming around and then just sanding out the shape. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So it's like a wedge shape from there back to here and then back to a box. But I was able to get enough shape in the light ply just on a, if you will, an 8-sided, it's just around the bottoms, and it's really, 5-sided and then a block on top. But I could get this thing rounded enough to blend with the spinner without using any blocks or anything like that on the bottom.
That's pretty cool.
It had an internal battery floor and stuff like that. That if I had to do it again, I probably would have left that out. But at any rate, you can get there from here, John. I guess that's the point. And this airplane turned out, it's 500 square inch airplane, turned out about 36 ounces. And by comparison, we had one with all balsa with an OS 35 that turned out, I think it was 45. All right. So it was quite. You can get there from here with just spinning out the web and realizing that the light ply can be. So it's harder and strong. It's actually more brittle too. That's the other thing you have to watch out for. But with the them out to the 3/16 cross section and then put a cap strip on it, like that, it actually turned out to be a very robust kind of rib, and easy to handle. It's not
So Dennis, all those ribs are off like
turbolator spars and stuff. Probably worked about the same way. Maybe just add a couple of spars back. I don't know.
I've got a follow-up question there for you, Dennis. Can the light ply be wetted down and molded?
I think it can. I haven't actually done it myself, but it's poplar, and it's wood. It should form just fine. I don't know how much shape you want to get in it.
Yeah, I just was curious. It might be a situation. What are the thickness? I know it comes in 1/8 and 3/32.
Yeah, it's actually I think 3 millimeters, so it's right between. A little under 1/8 and a little over 3/32. So I have not seen it, but I understand you can buy it 2 millimeters thick too, which would be kind of nice for some of our uses. But I've never seen it that way. Most of the stuff that I think SIG only carried the 3 millimeter that they called 1/8 inch, and then they had I guess is a 6 millimeter they called 1/4 inch. But I haven't seen. I've seen the only place I've seen the 1/16 or the 2 millimeter, I should say, is in the Brodak ARFs that they got from China. They got some.
Oh, I seem to remember in a couple of the balsa suppliers. I'm trying to think of the one that's in the Northeast there. They had it in their catalog, and I think it's possible that Balsa USA may have some thinner stuff in their catalog. I'm not sure on that one, but I have seen thinner stuff. in somebody's catalog. I just have to go through all my bookmarks and check through it. That looks good though. It looks like it's very amenable to what I'm trying. I want to try to use that mount that your brother made for me because it's just so darn neat.
Yeah. Well, the big wing. Also leading
You're off. You're off your mic.
Because the airplane was so big that it really responded nicely. The little bit allegedly was an 1100. That's an 1100 square inch airplane, so it's like it didn't really matter what kind.
Yeah, lots of area.
So it just didn't matter. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with me because that helps me make up my decision there.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, and you can definitely get there from here. I think it'd be a really good idea. I'm looking at trying to do some more of that kind of thing. But.
Well, I'm thinking about with the price of balsa wood today, it's just going to go up and up until the supply is completely gone. I remember when they were putting in the hulls of ships. We thought that was bad, but I understand that the windmills are buying up the whole forest before it's even grown.
John, did you read the Bob Hunt's article on Stunt Hangar? It's called it's in the open forum.
Yeah,
the new paradigm.
Yeah,
I read it too.
I read it.
Good article.
It was a great article.
Just to clarify my understanding, Dennis, that plane was almost all plywood except for the block there in front of the nose. Is that right?
Yeah, it was the front. There was a block, and then right behind it, the hatch and the top block of the fuselage were balsa, and the tail surfaces were 3/16 sheet. And leading to the edges were balsa, but basically the bulk of the structure was made up of white ply.
Amazing.
Well, one neat thing about I told you it was kind of it's heavy if you look at it on a density, just by the density, but it's actually more consistent. Also, you can get balsa at 6 pounds, and you get it at 8 pounds, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but all of a sudden that's 1/3. Your weight would just went up by 1/3 if you use 8 pound instead of a 6 pound balsa. All the balsa parts went up by 1/3. And you can easily get 10 or 12 pounds. Just whatever best available. You'd be getting into 10 or 12 pounds stock. And structures designed for 6 pounds stock. This is not grid. The neat thing about light ply is that it's pretty much always going to be pretty much what it is. So you can, yes, it's heavy, but you can depend on it, and you're not going to get as much variation out of it. And if you can design your structure in a way that it builds up light, it'll always be light. So that's Hey, the only better way to control it, send this in for our Atlanta contingent. The only better way to control the weight is to mold your airplane. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Hey, mystery in with that. It looks like he walked away. Oh, Christ.
You can make it airtight and fill it full of helium.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question.
That scenario, I haven't. I always get, whenever I think of that, I get these flashbacks of this great big sausage blowing up over New Jersey. So I don't know.
Never admit to having flashbacks.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I have a comment, you guys, from the YouTube. Greg Rodney says Midwest carries 1/16. I imagine he's referring to plywood.
Yeah.
Well, I have to check that out.
Don't know if that's light plywood or what, but that's what he says. And Gerald Wimmer asked me to include him in the email list. And so right now I have Tom Remmel's, John Miller's, Trian's, and Greg Sinclair's email address.
I don't have yours, but John, would you send him mine so I can get on that too?
That's why I asked you to say. I looked all over. I could not find yours.
So yeah, our chat box, Phil, on the left there, the one. Just type in there. I'll copy it down.
Chat box.
On the bottom left, there's a.
I'm pushing it,
box
but nothing's. I'm pushing it, but nothing's happening tonight. And the last time I pushed it, everything went blank. So
okay,
I didn't get when he was showing the pictures of that airplane a minute ago. All I got was a picture of the Juno RXL.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything. I don't know why, but I didn't see anything.
Try it now. Just click on the farthest one to the left, up next.
On the bottom.
There's the hand
at the bottom.
There's a TV. There's a TV with an arrow in it, and then there's
open close chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Click on that.
But
on that.
I'm pushing, but nothing's happening. It just disappeared. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Let me try again.
That's the one.
I got 6, but it won't come up. There we go. All right. Let me put that in right quick.
Sounds good.
Well, you put it in there. I'll copy it up. Then you won't need to send me an email. The reason I want the email. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should have it.
Okay. I've got something to send to you. So.
Oh, and I got Peter's. Peter, thank you, Peter. But I had yours before, but thanks, Peter.
Okay.
Appreciate it. By the way, hi, Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
Steve, I haven't seen you this quiet since the cat got your tongue.
Oh, I'm looking on Wix Aircraft. Is light birch poplar or
keeps coming up?
No. Wait a minute. It is poplar.
You know,
I think it might be.
You know, they have quarter, eighth, 16th, or 16th, 3/32. Yeah, they have 1/8 inch. But it's fairly cheap.
It is fairly cheap. It's not real expensive compared to balsa.
2x4 piece is $27 and 1/8 inch.
You lay it out right. You lay it out right though when you're laying it out, especially if you're laser cutting or you're good at using a skill saw or jigsaw. You can get a lot of planes out of that small piece.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some basswood plywood.
Yeah, they got all different kinds in there. I mean, you can get a 1 foot by 4 foot for $20.
Here's this Balsa Central has basswood plywood. I've never heard of that, but you can get this one at a 0.6 millimeter 2-ply.
Huh.
That's weird enough.
Be interested to find out what the difference in weights are, you know.
They got 0.6 2-ply, a 1.5 millimeter 3-ply, 2 millimeter 2.5, 2.75, 3 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 6, 8, and 10.
That's all pop.
No, this is all basswood plywood.
Basswood, okay.
I didn't even know they had basswood plywood.
I didn't either, but I think it's heavier than the light poplar.
They have mahogany poplar, maple poplar, birch poplar. I know birch is light. Maple basswood.
And birch is what I always try to use.
Yeah, so they got that, you know. They got birch plywood just in case you want to make a canoe. If you have, if you're flying off the water.
Leave it, Steve.
If you're flying off the water, huh, Tom?
Yeah. I don't know. My nephew's got a doing a kayak project for him and his son. They're going to build a mahogany kayak in their basement. So.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not that far out. So.
I tell you, a buddy of mine, a guy I work with, has built 2 kayaks out of mahogany and stuff. And I told him that he needs to get into building model airplanes. You cannot believe what these things look like. But he said that one took him 2 years to build in his garage.
I got a buddy that just finished a small sailboat in his basement. And I when he finished it, I had to laugh. I just had to laugh. The thing is gorgeous. Looks like a piece of plastic. But his
He
basement
can't get it out.
He can't get it out of the basement. I'm serious. He can't get it out of the basement.
That's just in case his basement floods, Phil.
It's 4 inches too big to go through the door.
We'll just take the door off.
He's already taken the door sills off and everything, and it's still, I think it was 1.25 inches or something too big.
Oh man!
I said, this is just not right. He says, well, I've been wanting to make this a drive-in basement for 30 years. By gosh, now I got a reason.
Now is the reason.
He'll do it too. He'll do it too.
I was going to say he might be a good finisher, but it sounds like his measuring is off a little.
Well, he has always been known to go in head first, shall we say. He jumps in before he thinks about it. Sometimes it bites him in the derriere, and this one it bit him butt good. I mean, this thing it's 17 feet long. It's I've forgotten how wide, and it's gorgeous. I mean,
37 inches.
I don't know, but I mean, any way you can turn this thing, it's too big to go up through there. And it was supposed to be a little day sailor, supposed to be just a little one-man boat, but no, he's going to have to punch a hole in the wall to get the thing out. And it's one of those basements where it's not, well, anyway, there's a walkway out and there's a walkway up into the house, but it's too big to go in either one of them. And if he went up the walkway to the house and went straight out the front door or the side door or whatever, you could make it, but that's just not the case. So I just had to ask him, you being a planning engineer,
There's your problem right there.
How in the heck did you make this mistake? He says, this is one of those things you just attribute to not thinking. And yeah, I go along with that.
I was a mechanic for 15 years. I know all about the engineers not thinking.
Well, I tell you what, I worked in Skunk Works for 4 years and at AT&T. The engineers would design it and we had to build it, and then they take it off and test it and see what happened. And some of the stuff that they designed and we built, we weren't even allowed to know what the crap we were building. So anyway, found out many years later what we had built. Some of it was really some neat stuff, but when you're working with ICs that cost $3,000 and $4,000 a piece, and they inventory every one of them every night, man, some of that stuff was weird. A lot of fun though. We had a great job. Nobody bothered us.
It is what a friend of mine said, but I don't know how true it is. But he said something about Boeing. The engineers that build the airplanes, on their CAD drawings, they have a wrench icon, and they can put it on that bolt or that nut, and if it doesn't turn, they redesign it, because if they can't get the bolt or nut to turn in the drawings, then the mechanics can't work on it. So
yeah,
that's a good idea.
I'm thinking, hell, GM needed that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. It's like
remember when you had to drop the engine? Remember when you had to drop the engine to change the plugs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Take the front tires off and go through the fender wells.
Yeah, that's what I had to do on my Blazer, to change the spark plug.
Yeah, the front tires off to go through the fender wells. Yep.
GM's answer to that. I had a Blazer as well, and GM's answer to that was a $32 socket and a wrench. The wrench itself, you loosened up the back of it, and the nut, the quarter-inch thing that goes into the socket,
Right.
part that goes into the socket, it now swiveled. It's the only
Yeah.
way you get that thing out of there. And I refused to pay $32, so I came up with a different way to do it. But man, that was the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Then the next Christmas, after I built this thing, it was I took an old socket and put a bolt on the back of it, put it in there, and then just took an open-end wrench and got it loose, and I could turn it out and in with my fingers. And you just need the quarter turn. I didn't figure $32. I'm not going to change the plugs that often. Buddy of mine gave me the wrench that Christmas.
Nice.
How about if you own a Porsche Boxster, you have to take out the seats to change the fan belts.
Oh man. All right, I got one for you. You figure this one out.
Access point to get at the fan belt behind the seats, and you can't take that cover off and get any kind of access unless you pull the seats out of the car.
Those were fun cars, but they were sure fire prone. But we've got a guy here that shows you remember the Pontiac Fiero, the one with the car. Remember they they had a 4-cylinder, then they had a 6-cylinder. He's got a 350 V8 in the back of that thing, where the 6-cylinder used to sit. I looked down in that you only got a hole so big to work through. I looked at it and I said, brother, you are on your own. Ain't no way.
You had to cut the car in half, change the plugs on that.
I don't know how he did it. I honestly don't.
Wasn't that a front-wheel drive?
No, it's rear wheel.
No, it was a mid-engine.
It's a mid-engine and the motor sits sideways.
100 horsepower 4-cylinder. I can't imagine if the 350 would have destroyed the transmission. I think.
Well, I would have thought so too, but a 4.3 is just a 350 that they literally shaved the front 2 cylinders off of.
Right.
So he said it just fits, but you had to go with a unibelt system. You couldn't do it with the old belt system. You had to put a unibelt system on the front of it. You had to make he made a custom set of headers on this thing that looked like nothing I've ever seen. They came out of the block and went straight down, and then the collectors were at the bottom. So there was no way it was tuned, but it was a tubular exhaust system. But I would not call it a set of headers. But anyway, everything about this thing was custom. But I mean, to each his own. Whatever you want to do. I mean, we built toy airplanes. He built a car. But we've got a guy here in Winston that all hand built. If you ever remember the McLarens with a great big wing on top, they had 454s in the race cars. He built one that's got a Honda. I forgot what it is. It's the VTEC engine sitting sideways in the back of that thing, and it looks for the world like a real McLaren's, right color and everything. But he was an aluminum specialist, and he hand hammered every piece of this thing. I've got a lot of pictures of it. Now, I don't know how to put them on here, but I've got a bunch of pictures of that thing. But it was incredible. It is incredible.
In 1984, when the Fiero came out, a good friend of mine's daughter had one, and I had one.
Boy.
She got hers like a week before I got mine. He calls me up, and he goes, and I forget his granddaughter's name. She came over and said, Grandpa, the exhaust system on my car fell off, and it's dragging.
Oh, Lord.
So he says he goes out there and looks, and here's the engine laying down on the ground, grinding the valve cover off.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
I guess when they did the Iron Duke motor, they put in some other motor mounts so they could hold it, and it was over top a water jacket, and they cracked.
Yeah.
So I took my car in. I had an engine that was redesigned not to do that.
Yeah.
But they didn't recall the other ones because not all of them cracked and the engine turned over in there and would grind the valve cover on the ground.
Good grief.
Wow.
I'm surprised the darn thing didn't seize up from all the oil running to the head.
What's
So
that
yeah,
knocking?
down the oil pan.
Oh, it's just your valve covers hitting the ground.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Actually, the valve cover's gone. It's the rocker arm hitting the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that they replaced the motor. They sent it over as a unit or whatever. they dropped it out the bottom and put a brand new one back up in it. But
good grief.
Hell, she dropped it out the bottom.
Yeah, she did the dropping for him. Lord, just the
Hey,
transmission holding it in the car. Good gracious.
Yeah.
Charles, I
Yeah.
prepared lesson 1 on geometric controls.
Oh, great. Go ahead and
So-
make it big. Are you ready to go through right now?
Well, I can try it because I actually like to go through lesson 1 just to see if I'm on the right, I got the right thing going here. Hold on a minute.
Sure. So I asked John Miller if he would talk to me about control system geometry, and that's not one thing, but one of the many things I feel a deficit in understanding.
You
While
didn't
he's
get enough
pulling this
geometry
up,
in school, huh?
while he's pulling this up, I fixed my Nobler problem that I had with the elevator and flaps. So now I've adjusted the clevis from the elevator,
right?
Push rod, adjusted the clevis, straightened it out, and I've got 1.5 inches both ways on both flaps and elevator. So everything's even now.
Good.
Very, very good.
100% better.
That's good work. Did you change the clevis though?
No, I didn't change the clevis. I don't have anything to change it with. So
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure nothing else was wrong before, I can change them later, but the throws the same on both of them. So
good.
That's good.
That
You'd be much better off.
what is that? A Pathfinder, John?
No, that's little Ellie.
Oh, that's a little Ellie.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a
Anybody else?
Pathfinder.
I still don't. All I see is a Junar XL. I don't know what's going on.
You don't see the black and white drawing?
No, sir. I see the Junar XL.
Nice.
That's Sparky's plane. I've launched that for him.
How does that landing gear work though? It's canted backwards.
The wheels are in the proper position, so that's all that counted. Where the wheels hit the ground is in the right spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So Phil, you still can't see it, Phil?
I still see
I could mount. I could mount it clear back here as long as those wheels hitting the ground are right there.
No, it just looks a bit strange.
Huh?
It just looks.
Anyway.
That's really the way to do it.
Well, you'll also notice while we're looking at it that the wheel pant here is kind of high. That's because I figure people will be flying this off of grass as well. So that was the idea on that. Okay, this is the little Ellie, which is a knockoff of the Pathfinder LE. That's where the name little Ellie comes from. But if you'll notice, the wing is different.
Yeah.
The airfoil is different. The stab and elevator are pretty much the same. And roughly the outside silhouette is close the same, except this is a tail dragger. It's designed for 15 to 25.
Ah.
Okay, that's why it's the little Ellie. And anyway, I use this because what I wanted to show you, of course, this has got a corrected system on it right now. But what I've done is I'll show you in a second, is that here I've pulled off the wing, the stab and elevator. That's what's important to have, and have the relationship between the center of the wing and the center of the stab at the heights that they're going to be. You don't have to worry about the thrust line or anything like that. But while I do it, I'll also show you why inlines are kind of tough to set up with corrected geometry. Okay, so let me move this down. Okay, that will give you, I've taken a lot of the writing and everything off, so it's a clearer view.
Can you enlarge it, John? It's really hard to kind of see. It's small.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I see Steve.
I see it big.
I see the guys, but I can never see the airplane.
I mean, mine's like full screen over here.
I see Peter full screen right now.
Click on John. I mean on
I did several times, and it just doesn't seem to.
Now, I'm on my phone, so I'm having to get right on it.
I've
so
got-
I'm not.
I've got JM, but he's blacked out.
Yeah, it's not. You're not getting it. Okay, well.
Well, keep going,
I can't
John.
help it.
Yeah, Phil, just watch it on replay, Phil. Just go to the.
That's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, it's streaming it, John. So it's showing up on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I'll look at it on YouTube then.
Make sure you
Here
put on your mic.
Here is the actual corrected geometry as I've got drawn up here.
All right.
Which is, but I'm going to show you how I get to that. So the first lesson is the first thing you need to do is get the set up the. Oh, I get that out of there. Set up the chord line. You don't have to have the rib and all that, but you do need to have where the pivot point for the flaps are.
Okay.
And where the pivot point for the belt crank is.
All right.
And okay, and now we need to make a decision here, like how much flap do you want? I like between 27 and 30 degrees of flap. I figure anything more than that, unless you got a real porker of an airplane, is wasted. It's just extra drag. So what we need to do then, we'll start with, here's our representative of the belt crank. Okay. The belt crank, that's where the pivot is. You see where I got that little box there?
Yeah.
That's the pivot for the push rod to go back to the flap. So I've drawn an arc around there, set it on the pivot point of the belt crank, and I figure 45 degrees of rotation both directions is about the maximum you'll ever be using. And so here here's a 45-degree line and another 45-degree line. And where those intersections are is the limit of your fore and aft travel. So that's your center point, that's your aft travel maximum, and your oh wait, I got this wrong. That's I gotta move this. Hold on a minute. Well, anyway, these lines here should come down at this point right here. You know, at the no, that's right. Never mind, I got it right. That's the maximum it's going to throw. So that's the maximum fore and aft. So now we know exactly how much fore and aft movement we've got, and we know that this is turning 45 degrees, and we want this to turn, let's say, 30. That's a 1.5 times. In other words, this is turning 1.5 times. The belt crank is turning 1.5 times more than the flap. So we use the figure of ratio, or the concept of ratios, and we could come out with how high the flap horn has to be. I was trying to think of this. It's been a while since I did my algebra and stuff. But if I remember correctly, you take the 30 degrees, you divide that by the 45, and that gives you a ratio. Then you could take that and use it as a multiplier, and you'll come up with the length. Up here, you can see I came with the length as 1.013 is the radius of that. Let me zoom in on that. Okay, so this radius is 1.013.
Right.
And this is the radius to go back to the elevator, because I want about 32 to 34 degrees on the elevator. So this is the ratio that gets us to that. into that range, and I go back and we've got of course adjustability on the elevator horn with the holes or with a slot, whatever way you go with it. And the reason this is built like a hockey stick is so that you don't have to, when this is set up so that when you've got it all the way as far as it's going to go this way, this isn't cutting in and taking away from the strength of your trailing edge.
Right.
Okay, so so that's what that's about. Of course, I have found over time that if you got the elevator and stab an elevator mounted above the so that you got relatively a straight line going between this hookup point on the flap horn to the hookup point on the elevator horn is close to level. It can be a couple of degrees slanted one way or the other, but if it's close to level, you don't need to worry about corrected geometry on your elevator. It'll be within a quarter to half a degree usually. Okay. So anyway, so using your math figuring ratios, that you'll know if you're going to turn that far, and if you got, you'll know how what radius you have for your hookup point for your push rod on the belt crank, and the hookup point for your push rod on the flap horn. This part here. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Trying to get it to go back to where it was. That trying to tell I wanted to get in closer. Okay, so graphically, the way I do this is that you can do it with trig. If you're good with trig, you can lay it all out. You can actually put it in a computer. What do they call that? Tom, you know what it is. If you want to put it in put these in a program, huh? Anyway, you can put it all in. You'll notice the height here with the elevator horn down and with the takeoff point of the elevator, it's almost a straight line. It actually goes down just a little bit, but it's very little. It actually rocks in the center.
Right.
So now what I need to do is I need to go in here and I want to do first to do a radius. So I'll do a circle at 1.013. Oops, yeah, slip. Radius.
All right.
1.013.
John is better with a
Get
computer
in
than I
there.
will ever be.
Start that over again because I messed up. Circle. Specify center point. This puts it right.
Yeah. You have to find the right. Maybe zoom in further.
Yeah, I think you're right. All eyes aren't what they used to be. Oh, that's my problem. I got two of them there.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That was from the earlier one. Okay.
There you go.
Circle, center point, right
Bing.
there. And radius. Oh, come on, that's not 1.13. No, that's. I'm not showing a very good showing here on my computer skills, am I? Try it
You're doing a
again.
heck of a lot better than I can do.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, getting there.
Now see, it did it again. It default.
Is it doing diameter instead of radius, John?
Well,
Well,
if it's doing diameter,
it's showing the radius, but you gotta zoom back a little bit to see it, I think. 1.13, you're looking at about a 3/4. There you go.
there it is.
That looks
Now we want to find out what angle that needs to be tilted forward. So we'll go into here, and we're going to do it when it's at level first. Now I figure this is about the height that your pivot point on your ball joint is going to be, or the average height that you. It's close enough for government work. So we'll do a line from this point. I got a different mouse here that's not one that I'm used to using. And we'll go to the tangent point of that circle.
Okay.
And then we'll go down there to, okay. Now that's set up now for corrected geometry. What'll happen here, let's do a measurement, see what the angle is. $10 degrees. Okay. Oh, the simple way, this is where CAD comes in so handy. The simple way to do the CAD is I'll draw another circle. And I'll start at this point to the intersection there. Okay.
Okay.
And enter. Now I'll go here for this throw. Hit the wrong button again. It's been a while since I've done this. So
you'll get it.
Let me do a DI. I'll do a measurement here from this point to the tangent. And I'll use that as a radius for my circle. And that is 4.84. Oh no, 4.917. So I'll do a circle here. And I'll do the radius. What did I say it was? 4.917.
Something like that, yeah.
That's too big. So I must have got that wrong. I can find out real quick. Distance 4.917. There's an easier way to do this. I'm going to do it.
Let's have someone else do it for you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, you got that right.
That makes it a lot easier.
Especially if somebody knows what they're doing. Okay, I'll just repeat the circle now. That's what I'm hitting the wrong button.
Hey, Peter, you got everything on the jig. How much swearing did it take?
A lot.
Did your wife kick you out of the house because you filled the swear bucket and you had to leave?
I had to move it off the table so I had some room to move my mouse. Oh yeah, Billy. I believe me. Earlier on this evening, I was swearing. You weren't here, but I was still cursing at it.
Did you wax them rods?
All right.
No, I just wiggled everything.
You'd be
Wax
surprised how
on,
much easier.
wax off.
It'd be so much easier once you wax them.
Yep.
If you don't have any good wax, just get some cheap soap.
Wax. Then everything. Then every piece, every grain of balsa dust and everything else sticks to it. No thanks.
No, you just put it on there and then you take a rag, a good rag, just to even a paper towel, and just rub it hard and spread around. There won't be anything but a film left.
And what I did to get the rods out of mine, I stuck them in my drill.
That's what I did.
And I hook on there and I just hit it real easy and get it spinning, and you can just walk that thing right out of there.
All right, John. Looks like you got things centered.
Yeah, I do. Okay, here's what we're doing now. We've got, I've created 3 circles with the same radius. So the first one for level is to the center mark. And that is my corrected geometry. This one here is with its aft maximum throw, here with its forward maximum throw. Now I should be able to do some lines from the end point. I've got to zoom in on that. Okay. And if I've done this right, these should be so close to the same dimension, but they're not. Oh, I know why. Because they don't have this pointed at this point. Okay. Well, isn't that wonderful in making the demonstration that I screwed it up?
That's because you have a million people watching you.
Yeah. Doing it this way, these 3 lines should be equidistant apart. Okay.
Okay.
They're not. I can see it. We'll see how far off I got it. Okay, that's 24 degrees. This is a whole lot less. Yeah, way less. Okay, so obviously I've screwed up in there somewhere, but believe me, this works.
All right.
Okay. Whether or not I screwed up or not, it does work. And somewhere in there, I'm a little nervous anyway. So
sure.
Somewhere in there, I've screwed up, and you can see right here. You can see right here, this distance to there, and this is way too much difference between the two.
All right.
So, but anyway, once you get done, you'll have roughly about 21 degrees both ways. Okay.
All right.
and at 21 degrees both ways, give you equal throws. Now, the next thing you do is you come this vertical line here. You come down. You've got to come down far enough that, like, if you're using ball joints or ball, you know what I mean?
Links.
What do you call them?
Ball links.
You got to be able to have the ball links be able to work without interfering with each other. So that's how far down you come. Okay.
Right.
And then you go straight back. And I like to use one of those long adjustable things on the elevator itself, so that I can adjust it and have kind of infinite adjustment. But you can do it with 3 or 4 holes in there. And, you start the closest hole to the pivot point is going to give you the most throw. The furthest one out will give you the least. And you can fine tune your adjustment. And that's how you get your corrected geometry on your airplane.
So
Any
now
question?
I got a question. Why not bring a center shaft out of the bell crank up above the wing? Okay, so now it's above it. So now you go back to your flap horn, and it's straight.
Yep.
And on top of that shaft, I don't know if you guys can see this, you'd put something like this on it, and you'd have one push rod going from that to the flap and one going from that to the elevator.
Footy, you should mention this, Steve, because a fellow in Australia did that. In fact, he actually made the crosspiece. Actually, he made it come out the bottom, and he had a hatch down here that he could take off, and he had the slots kind of like, let me zoom over here. He had a cross piece there that was fixed to the shaft itself, and it had the slot like this in it on both sides. So it'd be like this with this being the center that's on your shaft, go through your bell crank, and it was a duplicate. It was the same thing on the other side. Oh, he went a little deeper in it. Okay, so now he had his hookups. He used his ball links, and he did exactly what you're talking about. He went one to the flaps and the other one to the elevator. And the nice thing is it works perfectly because it gives you, when you give up elevator, it gives you down flaps. But it also allowed him to play with something else that not a lot of people thought about or had thought about at that point. And that was, by sliding these in and out, gave him infinite adjustability on the amount of flap and on the amount of elevator that he had.
Right.
And he played with it and found out that on his particular airplane, he didn't need more than 7 degrees of flaps and about 25 to 30 degrees of elevator. And he was able to fine tune and adjust that in, and it worked very well. And that's a good, viable way to do it. But you're how would I put it? You've got to be like Trayan to build that shaft and that setup, because this has to lock onto the shaft. It cannot move.
Right. Well, but we use a round shaft. Why not use a square shaft?
Only because you'd have to have something to hold it so that in the hole in the top and the bottom of the wing and the sheeting end that would allow it to rotate without catching or wearing with those square edges.
Well, the other thing is like on RC, it has a spline shaft. Then a screw goes in to hold that down on that spline.
Yeah, you can play with that. That works fine. That's a good viable alternative. Another thing I've done, I've gone straight from the flap or the belt crank out and all the way back here to the elevator horn, and then come back from the elevator horn back here to the flap.
Yeah.
And that works real well because your distance now, you spread it out over so much distance that the angle there, you don't have this huge angle. so the angular differences don't cause you that much of a problem.
Well, the other thing I was thinking is on the flap horn, they have one of the horns go up and one of the horns go down.
Yeah. Trouble is, look at some practical aspects. I mean, that is a doable solution. Well, actually, if one goes down, you pull up on here, it gives you up on the elevator. If you're going this way, you pull here, it pushes here. That won't work. But I've had one where I came in, and I was using large carbon fiber tubing, and right about here, I drilled through it and put a it's hell to get over. Put my my pivot, my ball link, put my ball link right here, and ran it forward to my flap, and it worked beautifully. There's all kinds of things you can do. That this is a simple solution. All it requires is changing this particular flap horn, laying this flap horn out like this. That's all it requires. It's all it takes to do it. Whereas the other, there's some things that work a treat about it, like having that slotted setup that coming out of the bottom, and then have one going to the flap horn and one going back to the elevator horn. That to me is slick. But let's look at why inlines don't work too well. First off, this wing now comes up. And so it comes up and hits this line here. So this center line now comes up that distance. So now it's sitting right about that height in there. And you bring this down. So what happens? You got a push rod that is going down at a huge angle. Okay.
Yeah, but couldn't you lower the elevator to the line, and then, like with my deal, but poking up through the top, now you can come straight back and have your elevator horn poking up instead.
Well, if you're coming out the top on your wing, and you got it on the top on your elevator, you give it up, and you get up flap too.
Yeah, but that's why you have this on there. You hook one to one side and one to the other, so one is pulling, one is pushing.
Okay, I see where you're at. Yeah, that would probably work. But again, you'd really want to see that there's a benefit to having inline. I don't think there's that big a benefit, if at all, to inline compared to setup with your raised stab and the reason you have a higher thrust line is to give you clearance for the prop, and the wing sitting down there helps you keep your bell crank lined up with your vertical center of gravity. This raises it up so that you can get it out of the wing wash, which is what happens if you got it down on inline. You've got more possibilities of probably coming out of the wing wash, coming off, especially when the flaps are deployed, coming off and messing up your elevators. So to each his own. This is just a simple solution that works and involves, like I said,
yeah,
one
but that ain't very
change.
simple, John.
Say what?
That ain't very simple.
What, making this little horn?
Yeah. Well, the whole thing,
All you gotta do,
coming up with the angles and all that kind of stuff.
Well, once you come up with the angles, first off, what you buy, like from Tom Morrison, they found that the average for the average stunt wing is 9 degrees. You can buy them.
Yeah.
I was just showing how we get them. You can buy that horn.
Oh, I know it. I got them in Samantha's airplane and stuff.
And if they're off a degree or so one way or another, a half a degree, it doesn't make that much difference. It makes a huge difference to have this over a straight up and down horn. Imagine if this horn was straight up and down. I have seen as much as 6 degrees difference in elevator up and elevator down, and quite a difference in flap up and down by using a straight up and down. They're not all equal. A lot depends on the distance. There is a way to do, like you said, you could come up. You could actually come out this way, bend up, and then go straight. As long as you're going straight and meeting that point there, straight on 90 degrees, you can have it like this and just put a bend and reinforce it and come up. You can do the same thing with a T-tail. You can come back, put a bend here, put a reinforced piece here and a reinforced piece here, come straight back to that T-tail, and you'll have equal controls. Okay, I'm gonna stop now unless there's any more questions.
So it looks like it's pretty important to have the bell crank in the center of the wing. Is that right?
Not necessarily the center. You want to have it.
I mean, as far as up and down,
I mean,
vertically up and down, it needs to be in the center of the width of the wing.
Well, you want to get it closer to where you got enough room here and this side, so that you're not doing any obscuring of the controls coming out. And you also got to consider that they're going to be, especially if you get out a half span or so, that you're going to be moving them forward and back, and you got to make sure that they're clear, because the last thing you want is for those controls to rub against any of the ribs. So I've got this mounted so that it actually is close to that I-beam, so I can hook it into the I-beam and use that straight to that I-beam. I'm actually thinking about on the next one, I'm going to make a T type of thing and a slot through the I-beam right under that piece there. Slide it in, made out of plywood. Slide it in so it would look like a big T, and it would go in, around, over, back up. So I can slide it in there and get more glue area and spread the stress out over a longer distance, and tie it to the cap on the I-beam and to the web of the I-beam.
Well, at least tonight, I think I figure out why I crashed so much. It's because I'm 6 degrees off with up and down, and that has to be doing it for me.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Well, I wouldn't hit the ground.
Yes,
and inverted.
Exactly. That's important.
Yeah.
And one other question, John. One thing, maybe I missed it, but I didn't get the distance of the push rod attaching to the bell crank from the pivot point of the bell crank. That distance. Did you mention that distance? Or maybe I missed it.
Well, think about it. If you're just using a Z-bend, usually your Z-bend isn't right tight to the top of the bell crank. The Z-bend would comes down, makes this way, and then goes that way. You slip your Z-bend in there, and a lot of people put a plate underneath it for the slide on, but you don't necessarily have it. But the Z-bend, this is just it's going to have some vertical movement on it that way.
No,
if you use
what I'm saying is even if you use a Z-bend, that hole that the wire goes through, that distance of that hole to the pivot point of the bell crank I'm talking about. Like Paul Walker, I think he recommends 13/16, and then I've heard people say 15/16. I've heard people say 3/4. People say 7/8 of an inch, and I'm totally at a loss what I need to be doing.
Let me see.
He's talking about the arm length.
The bigger the airplane, the bigger the airplane. You got to remember, an impact is a huge airplane. Paul Walker was one of the first that went with 1 1/4 inch.
Right.
From the bell crank to the top hole on your horn.
Right.
He was one of the first to go with 1 1/4 inch. It's because he's got a huge airplane. He flies it fast, and that desensitizes the controls a little. You don't have to pull so hard. You got a bigger lever. It's just a longer. Just think of the horn as a lever. That's all it is. And the smaller the airplane, I mean, with 35 airplanes, we flew for 40 years with a 1 inch horn.
Right.
But then the plane started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And Paul Walker was one of the first to go to a 1 1/4 horn or to popularize it. Because, you know, for years and years, this stuff was, nobody told what was inside their plane. You didn't know unless you examined the crash. So
It's a big secret.
It was. You don't think so? Look at back in history at the I-beam wing, the history of the I-beam wing, the Detroiter.
Big
Oh
secret.
man, when they crashed that thing, they go over and stomp heck out of it so you couldn't see what was there. It was powder by the time you could get to it and see it. They would rather destroy the thing than let you see what was in it because that was a big secret. But the controls were the same thing, and everybody used to go. If you look at a 57 Nobler, I think the plan still showed coming off of the outside hole in the bell crank and then going to the bottom hole on the horn, and then your flap horn, you came off the flap horn and you went from the top hole and it went back to the elevator and it went to the, I forgot which one, but it seemed like it was.
I remember seeing that and I thought it was peculiar. Yeah, I remember seeing
that. Well, I bought a kit of the Bear and it still showed it done like that. But it had a note on it. It says, remember, this is the way Bob flies his planes, but Bob has unbelievable reflexes. And if you ever met him, he did. Bob Gieske was an amazing fellow. He had some unbelievable reflexes, but everybody else run off the middle hole of the bell crank and run it to the top hole at the flap and then run it 1 inch, 1 inch, or 1 to 1, whether it's 3/4 or 1 inch at the elevator. And you're usually in the ballpark. There's no black magic to it. Just think about it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Here, Charles is the bell crank. Now I've shortened it here because I don't need this much out here, and there's not enough room to have a lot. So I've shortened it.
Okay.
What that ratio I was talking about between the 45 degrees and what
30 and 45, yes.
That's this ratio right here. Between this turn 45, what it takes on that circle, that 4-inch circle, that's 2 inches there to the center, to what it takes to make, it relates to this pivot point to here.
Right.
Okay. And I think this one is hold on a minute, I'll find out real quick. I hate this
mouse.
Well, the mouse, yeah.
Hate that mouse. I know. I have a mouse like that.
It's just, I'm too cheap to throw it away, I guess.
Yeah, I know. My mouse, I can't get it exactly where I want it to go all the time. It's hard. Like a little bit and it goes too far.
So a little decon on your computer bench. That'll take care of that mouse.
By the way,
John, it's a laser. What?
You are one of the few people I've ever seen drew plans and put the bell crank in there backwards like we all build them. But everybody always shows a bell crank like they've always been, and nobody builds it like that anymore.
Secrets.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so what's that distance there, John?
I'm working on it. It's not doing it for me, so I'm going to do it this way.
All right.
Unfortunately, simulate. How many of you guys use Apple phones out there?
The interaction.
I do.
That one.
I'm using an Android.
Are Apple phones are they worth the money over the Android?
No.
I don't think so. Though they do have a good warranty program on them.
I'll tell you one thing, it's nice to have the iPad and some of that stuff though, because you don't get hacked. And every time you want to turn it on, you don't have to wait. Every time I turn on my computer, I have to wait 10 minutes for the darn thing to upgrade. That drives me berserk.
That's because you don't have a solid state drive.
I do have one, 2 terabyte.
Oh, but, I have a solid state drive, and then my machine comes up like almost instantaneously.
Yeah, mine never has. But the
Guys, this
Apple
comes
updates
out.
at night. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
This comes out to about just under 9/16 of an inch from here to here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, this is a small
And
airplane too.
well, that's true, but what the size of the airplane with these ratios doesn't matter, because what you're doing is you're slowing your controls down, so you can fly nice and smooth, yet still yank on it and get a good turn out of it. And that doesn't matter what size your airplane. These ratios are going to be the same. The only time they'll change is if you go from a 4-inch bell crank to a 5-inch bell crank.
This bell crank in Miss Ellie is how big?
4-inch.
Really? Wow.
You got a 4-inch in there? Wow.
Yeah. Did that because
I would have thought it was a 3.
Yeah, I would have thought it was a 3 too on the small plane.
Well, it could have been, but it wasn't necessary. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to keep the controls easy to handle.
Very, very nice.
What I do, I cheat. I've got Stunt Wagon 30 in the Boxcar Chief, and everybody that flies either one of them says, "How in the world?" And what you do is take a 3-inch bell crank, because you can't put a 4 in a Stunt Wagon 30. There's no room. You take if you look at where the 3-inch bell crank, SIG bell crank, where it says SIG right in the middle of it, and you dot that I, you drill your hole.
I wrote that in.
I know you did.
I wrote that in the article on the Pathfinder.
Yeah. But you dot that I and shorten that bell crank up quite a bit, and everybody says, "Well, that's not much throw." You don't need much throw. That's the thing. Everybody still thinks you need straight up and straight down, like we did in the early 60s. All you do is stall it. All you do is stall it. I just built a 38 Special that looks like a SE5A, and we flew it Saturday. And everybody was telling me, "Oh, that thing looks real. That thing looks real." I don't know what they were looking at. It was stalling all over the place. I got to move the lines way forward and take some rudder out of it, and it'll fly a whole lot better. Next week it'll fly better, but it's one of those systems where to make it look like an SC5, I didn't make a slider on the lead outs. It's got a rod up there, but I got to cut the lines and move them back through another hole and then redo the ends. So it wasn't something I could do at the field, but I'll redo it and have it done. It's got such a short nose. It's got such a heavy engine to compensate for that you really, when you bench test it, you don't need it dipping down any. You want it just about flat. And I had too much. It doesn't look like a lot, but it's too much. When I fly it, I can tell it's crabbing. And you pull the controls to it, and you can see the thing try to kick out. I said, "Well, I know what that means. Them lines got to come forward at least 1/4 of an inch, and I think a half's more like it." But one thing about it, Tom designed a good airplane. Everybody says that's a cool plane. It's nothing but a 38 Special restyled. And I don't know why, but I've got the Junar on this computer and a P38 on that one on my telephone. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there's everybody. Okay. Anyhow,
I think Tom.
Go ahead.
I think Tom used a fellow by the name of Miller's Dancing Girl from Great Britain as his guidance or whatever for the 38 Special. I think I remember him saying that or writing about that once. And that's all right. I mean, because it's like this plane that it uses the Pathfinder Ellie as its as its guidance. But if you look, this is the Gurkey wing.
Yeah.
I was going
to skip. I looked at that thing and I said, "That looks just
it looks like a Gurkey Novi 3."
Yeah.
Looks like a what?
Novi 3.
Well, that's designed by Gurkey.
That's right.
Novi was a Gurkey design.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's actually an I-beam, but he has the center section here with the I-beam through it.
Yeah.
And so he could control his airfoil all the way out, and it built faster. There's kind of what I was talking about on the bell crank mount right in there. Those two.
Right.
Yeah, that fits underneath.
That's a cute little airplane.
Yeah, it
How
is.
did you get all that stuff on one piece of paper, man? Lord
I
have
had to use
mercy.
a shoehorn.
I mean that.
Hey, well, John, thank you very
And
much, John. I appreciate that. And this doesn't have to be the end of this. I know you said you had part one or the first part, so thank you very much. And
You bet.
let me just end the stream, make a closing announcement, then we can still continue on. Um, anyways, thank you for everybody showing up. We appreciate it. And there was some people on the YouTube side. We had Gerald Wimmer and Greg Rodney and I think Robert Bishop and Jeff Riley. Thank you guys. And Jeff Riley actually had a comment. He said that if you split the tangent with the true vertical, you'll be within a half degree or so, and that's close enough. I think he was talking about the that those circles he was doing.
He's right. He's right.
he's right. He's right.
That's
There's
basically
a
what
chat
I
out
did
there
when I.
where you can contribute.
Go ahead.
Don't forget we have the super chat out there where you can contribute and donate. It helps Sparky with the expenses of the equipment acquisition and help support the forum. And please remember to like and share and subscribe. These all helps the analytics of this channel. So again, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you guys out in the audience next Friday. Again, same time, same channel, and we'll see you then. And like I say, bid you all good night. And we're going to continue to talk. I'm just going to end the stream here. Just give me a moment and stop live stream. And